sports. It's in the game.
A very good evening and welcome to the Formula One Grand Prix RPM Season 4 Premier Division. This is round 7 of our Premier Division Championship, and tonight we are in Great Britain, Silverstone, a track that many of the drivers love. It's fast, it's flowing, there's not too many heavy braking points on this track. Couple of DRS zones, aggressive and savage on tyre wear, and has produced some fantastic racing for RPM already this week. So let's see what we've got in store tonight. So, a very good evening, and here we are in Silverstone. Tonight we are in round 7 RPM in the Premier Division. It's Silverstone, Great Britain, and I should be joined by my fantastic and glamorous, the wonderful, the amazing co-commentator, who is the third place finisher of yesterday's race in First Division, RPM Jones. Are you there, sir?
Good evening, Spritzy. I didn't know you knew quite so many adjectives.
What an intro! What an intro! I've been practicing that all day.
It's made me seem much better than I am.
Mate, podium last night. Congratulations. Good race. How are you today? All right?
Yeah, not too bad. It was a tense one last night because I went on the mediums for a long time, and as you said, tyre deg round here is pretty crazy.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna ask you about that in a moment. But before we get to that, so next week we're in Belgium. The week after we've got 2 rounds following on. Italy in Monza. We've got the full quali in Imola, round 10. Then we move to USA, where we've got the first round on the new circuit, Miami, which is going to be fantastic for everybody in RPM. One of the new circuits for this year's game. Followed by USA at COTA, Circuit of the Americas. Then we've got the sprint race in the penultimate round, round 13 in Mexico, followed by the final round of season 4 in Brazil. So that's the calendar. Let's have a look as per normal at the drivers' standings. So the guys have just gone out. I can see to my left the guys have just gone out on their first lap. So I'm sure that Jones will keep us updated a little bit later on what's been going on. But before we do that, let's have a look at the championship. So we got Banter Brandon in the McLaren in first place. So taking second place last time out in Spain. His nemesis, RPM Colin, taking the win. So Colin's in second place with 197 points. So there are 34 points separating Brandon and Colin. So if you look, Brandon's been massively consistent with a first, a second, a first, a second. So with that consistency, Colin cannot afford to make any mistakes at all, and he's going to be out tonight to try and get that win, and Brandon's going to be looking to stay right up there with him. Third place in the Mercedes, we've got Jetfish. Fourth place, we've got Al on 128 points, closely followed by Higgsy on 107, only 21 points behind him. in the first of the two Aston Martins. Quite a surprise result in 6th place. We've got Fretti in the AlphaTauri through consistency and some good finishes. So Fretti, I know he likes this circuit. It's his home track, so he'll be looking for a good result tonight. We've got Brent in 7th. We've got Bakker in 8th. Bakker's not had the best season so far, so he'll be looking for a good result tonight. We've got Giraffe in 9th, and we've got Luke in the second Ferrari in 10th. How does that translate to the Constructors' Championship? Well, that for the Premier Division, that puts McLaren. Jones will be delighted to hear that puts McLaren on first place, top step with 277 points, closely followed by Mercedes with 266 points. We've got the Ferraris in 3rd place with 259, which is a great result considering that Luke missed the first 3 rounds of the season. And then we've got Aston Martin in 4th with 184. And then we've got a huge gap of 102 points, or 98 points, sorry, my maths is not great this evening, to Williams. So the battle then is between Williams, Alpine, AlphaTauri, Red Bull, and then we've got Haas and Alfa Romeo towards the back of the grid. And last but by no means least, updated as of last night after the Championship Division and First Division races, in the all tiers constructors, we've got Aston Martin, I'm very proud to say, at the top of the table with 780, with Ferrari in 2nd, 724, and McLaren in 3rd. But everything can change tonight. We know that Colin's going to be strong. We know that Luke's going to be strong as well. Bakker's looking for a comeback. Glassy and Brandon are going to be on fire for this race. Fretty's going to be looking for a good result. It is going to kick off tonight. So, as we join Jones now, if he wants to give us a bit of an update what's going on while I've just set up this camera.
Yeah, well, we've just seen a Haas crash out. I'm not sure exactly who that was. We've got the 2 Ferraris getting off to an absolute great start straight away. Colin, unsurprisingly, right at the top, 9 tenths ahead. I was just noticing from the constructors, we got the top 3 teams within 18 points, and then what a midfield battle behind Aston Martin for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. All the constructors separated by 3 points.
It's going to get tight as we get to the end of the season, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. So, and as we mentioned, I think on the last race, was it Japan last week, where we said, how close it's been between Colin and Brandon this season, that it could, if they keep doing first and seconds, it could come down to that last race. So, all to play for in these championships.
It could. Well, I actually watched the stream back last week. Not all of it, just the bit where me and you were attempting to do some maths. And, I think we'd worked it out that it was very, very close. If Colin won every race and Brandon came second in every race, I think we might have got it wrong by a couple of points. But nevertheless, the principle remains the same. It is going to be very, very close when we get to the end of the season. And what could change it is either one mistake from either Colin or Brandon, or a kind of unfortunate safety car at the wrong time. And we've got, we're only halfway through the season, and these two guys, have put on a great battle. I know that Colin told me that since the latest patch, he was struggling a little bit more than normal on this circuit. He's done a bit less practice than normal because he didn't want to damage his wheel. So maybe tonight is the night that Brandon can really look to give Colin some pressure, but that's definitely something that we all want to see for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have got Brandon on his first flying lap now, so it'd be interesting to see what he can do as we've got all the others in the pits. But yeah, it's just hope we see some great racing between Brandon and Colin again.
We've got so tell us. I mean, I'm going to have to ask you, how bad were those tyres of yours last night?
So, I had Bakker, who I could write a whole book about, as you know. He was engineering me last night, and I do believe we were 85% on the front left as we came round, so it's just nursing at home. But then he sent me a video straight after of someone getting a puncture at 86, so I was pretty happy with that. But yeah, it's a tough one because it's not really. Oh, and Brandon does go second, 3 tenths from Luke. It's a tough track because you can try and be smoother, but it's so fast, and like you said, it's savage on the tyres. You've got so many high-speed corners where you put load into the tyres, and if you back off too much, you just lose so much time. So it's a real struggle keeping your tyres going.
There's definitely, as I found out on Tuesday, there's absolutely no space at all to use the soft tyre in the race unless it's right at the very end. But even then, when you lose track position, as I found, losing track position on a safety car, I think it's too difficult to make up on this track.
Yeah.
So
agreed. I had a bit of a nightmare where I was put onto the soft and then had to pit instantly again into the safety car. I had a bit of a glitch, but yeah, those softs, I think
when you say you were put onto the softs, was that backer, was it?
No, he was telling me to go onto the mediums. He was an absolute excellent engineer. I'd give him 10 out of 10 reviews on Yelp. I don't know, it was just weird. It wouldn't let me change, because when you get the radio message and you confirm your strategy, it got stuck on that. So I wasn't actually able to cycle through.
To change in the MFD to change it. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope that
hopefully that doesn't happen to anyone. Yeah.
I was just going to say, let's hope that these guys. I'm just on board with Glassy now. Glassy's up into 5th place with a 1:28.1. The times, as the back end just steps out there for Glassy, that will have cost him a few tenths. So we'll see at the end of this Sector 1 whether he's improved, and he's improved by 1,000th of a second. So I'm guessing that he's going to continue on with this lap, unless he aborts because he's not improved. We've got Backer joining us in the chat saying that he's got pedal issues and his brakes are not working correctly. I know that feeling very well, Backer. We've also got Huss joining us in the chat. A very good evening to my esteemed lead driver in senior division, who scored a fantastic podium. No, he didn't. I tell a lie. He scored a podium, but then got it taken away with a 3-second penalty. So that was unfortunate for us. We've got Shack Attack joining us in the chat. We've got Richard joining the chat. And that's it so far. So a very good see you all. If you've got any predictions or you want to make any comments, feel free to keep the chat moving. It always keeps me and Jones entertained. In the meantime,
as we see Luke Spin as well coming onto the back straight.
We've got Brian.
And we've had Brian out, yeah. And did King Pinkwin just put himself up into 3rd there?
He did.
Yeah, he must have, yeah.
So we've got 3 or 4 reserves tonight in the Premier Division. So we've got Quinn, who's reserving from the Championship Division. We've got Lewis. We've got D-Mac. We've got Ross. And I think we've got one more, which is Stubby. Stubby sounds a bit like a northeast name, doesn't it? That Stubby. But yeah, Stubby's been going quite well actually. In the I think Stubby's racing in your division, isn't he? In the 1st division.
Yeah, and he's very quick. I think he got the win in Spain. I think in our division, he's a quick driver, and he's doing very well for himself up there in 9th, right behind Jetfish as well, who's 3rd in the championship.
Yeah, 28.2 is a very, very respectable time. I think you qualified with a 28.4, if I remember rightly, last night. I really struggled.
I didn't even know that, to be fair.
Yeah, you did, mate. I really struggled I got a 28.5, and I just found this track really difficult for some reason in this year's game. So, going to be interesting.
I think what's been difficult, and you mentioned it earlier with Colin, is like each patch they seem to bring to the game, it does seem to change the way the cars are handling. I know after maybe the 2nd patch they brought, or the 1st patch, I completely lost any rhythm with the cars.
Yeah, we know it's controversial. Releasing games and charging, customers, which we are, about 70 or 80 euros a year to release a game that's full of bugs is not ideal, Cody / EA. So maybe next year, 2nd year of EA being involved with it, things might be a bit better. But we're not here to moan tonight. We're here to talk about the Premier Division. So
I think we've got Ross on a flying lap who's 3/10 up as well. I'll keep an eye on that if you've got Brandon on.
It depends on who's further up. Yeah, we've got Ross coming through.
Ross is coming into, the final chicane.
Got no Evil Master tonight, unfortunately. Oh, 3/10 improvement.
11th.
With a 28.4, so that matches your lap from last night. That just puts into perspective the gap between the Premier Division Championship and First Division and Seniors. So I think you qualified in 5th or 6th with a 28.4, and that would have put you at the moment. That would have put you in 12th place in the Premier Division. Not that I'm trying to sell you a seat, of course, but
no. I mean, the big headline of that is that you're essentially 2 seconds slower. Well, when I say you're, I'm talking about myself. 2 seconds slower than Colin. It shows you how quick the guys at the front of this division are.
Yeah, well, if you look at Colin's time versus Brandon's, I think Brandon will be a bit disappointed to be so far behind. He's currently 8/10 behind. So
yeah, and I saw that he bailed out of his last flying laps, so he's probably made a mistake. So you might have a bit of time to catch up, but I think the time Colin's done there is going to be incredibly hard to beat. It's so fast.
Got Lewis coming through. Lewis is joining his reserve in the Alfa Romeo. So Lewis comes through, gets the exit. Oh, good improvement from Lewis. 27.8. So he'll be delighted with that lap, putting him onto the 3rd row of the grid. What we got going on with Higgsy then? So Higgsy with a 28.0. I would imagine that Higgsy can get a little bit better than that in his final lap. Who's the next car we've got coming through? Looks like an AlphaTauri.
I mean, it could all be changed through the middle pack here, from 7th down to 17th. 8/10 separate them.
Yeah, so we've got
so we could see a lot of movement.
We've got Fretty that's just set at 28.5. We've now got 1, 2, 3 drivers on a 28.5. We've got 2 drivers on a 28.6. So yeah, this is going to get extremely close. Who's the next driver that we've got coming through? We've got Brent setting a lap, but I don't think that's his real lap at a 1:30.4. Something a bit strange going on there. Looks like we've got another Mercedes. Jetfish coming through, comes into the final corner. Jetfish, oh, he must be on a lap now. 1:28.1. But he's got full ERS, so let's stay on board with Jetfish for the moment, because we've not got many cars coming through.
And I'll see if I can spot any of us whilst you're watching Jetfish.
Seems to get a good exit as he comes out onto the Wellington straight. It's the DRS. It's going to get a little bit of a tow from what looks to be a Ferrari. May have been Luke. Looks like he's got this section of corners quite nice. Gets on the gas using the full circuit on the left hand side, cutting across the line. The question is he going to lift? Is he going to lift? Is he going to lift? A slight lift. Does drop to 7th. Doesn't invalidate. So, oh, he does invalidate. So, commentator's curse. Sorry, Jetfish.
And they've made it much stricter this year on that corner. If you ran wide last year's game, it was you could get away with it, but now it's complete invalidated.
I think what they've done this year is that they've actually calculated correctly if you gain time or not. Because I ran wide a few times in practice and it didn't invalidate, but then I wasn't gaining time. Whereas I think the one lap that I did do, where I gained a bit of time, and it like you say, it invalidated straight away. We've got Stubby on the lap. Bit of an improvement, almost a 10th. So that could improve, that could put Stubby up maybe in place, depending on how he gets this last sector. We've got yellow in sector 2, that might just be somebody letting somebody past. We've got Stubby coming through this final sector now. Oh, commentator's curse again.
And we've got Colin at nearly 3 temps up through the first sector.
Let's jump on board with Colin.
And Brandon was a 10th down on his best time through the first sector.
This is how you do it, folks. Using all of the track. Almost esports. Let's have a look where Colin is at the end of sector 2.
And Brandon's out, so he won't improve past third. He'll be hoping the people behind can't improve.
Colin has made a slight improvement. We'll see where he finishes. We've got Huss in the chat saying he wants to he wants to watch Backer, and he's also saying that I always blame Cody's for all the problems. Yeah. All right,
just
Huss, calm down.
To update Huss on Backer, when Colin does go faster, Backer has invalidated his lap. He was 4 temps up, but so I'm guessing he made a mistake somewhere with that 33. Entity improves up to 15th, but straight back down to 16th. Didn't see who went up, and then Stubb and Ross have switched positions, as well as Stubb but facing backwards.
Right, just for Huss, we're on board with Backer. Now I don't know what you think, Jones, but one thing that I've missed from the game is in last year's game I really liked it if you finished 11th and you got a free choice of tyre, and I think this year having that free choice of tyre across the whole grid has really taken something away from the spectacle of qualifying, because that was always for me, when depending on where you finished, it was a good strategy call, thinking right, do I go on to the mediums, do I start on the hards? But obviously if you were inside the top 10 you had to start on the softs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think strategy wise for both, because you would have probably seen Colin try and put a lap in on the mediums, and certainly for the people outside the top 10, anything's possible with the tyres, and it just opens up not just on pure racing terms. Obviously we love to see the close racing, but it does get exciting with figuring out how the strategies are going to play out.
Mate, absolutely. I think we've missed a little bit of that in this year's game, personally. But anyway, like I say, we're not here to moan, as we keep moaning. Oh, that's quali finished. So Backer didn't get to complete his lap. Luke saying in the chat he got 3 invalidated laps in a row. So let's have a look at how the grid's going to line up. So we've got Colin on pole. We've got Quinn, who has put himself on the front row. So I've missed that. Apologies, Quinn. With a 127.424. Also with a 127.4 is Brandon on the second row. He'll probably be a bit disappointed with that. We've got Lewis first of the reserves on the second row, who's driving the Alpha tonight, so he'll be happy with that. We've got Luke and Brian on the next row. Higgsy, Jewel, Glassy, Jetfish, Ross, Stubby, Giraffe, Maggot. We didn't see much of Maggot in quali. Fretty in 15th, Entity 16th, DMAX 17th, Brent in 18th, and we've got I've got problems with my pedals Backer in 19th, I do believe. So I hope that he gets those pedals. I don't know quite how he would get the pedals fixed, I have to say. It is a real pain when you're just about to start a race and something doesn't work, but it does happen from time to time. So we should have formation lap off, as far as I remember. I don't think we've done enough testing to see whether the sound glitch has gone yet. Hopefully it has, and we can have formation lap back on. I think that's one of the nice additions to the new game, the immersive formation lap. Not that I ever get it right, because I always seem to park in the wrong place and start cold tyres anyway. But everybody starts with colds now, don't they? They're all cold tyres, so...
I think the other nice addition has been actually in the pit lane. You feel more involved, actually having to, well, not necessarily turn in, you press a button, but
here we
time
go.
it.
We're on. We've got 5 lights, and we're off.
Okay, let's go.
There he is. Let's have a
And
look.
Brandon's straight into second place.
Yeah, Brandon's up to second. We've got Colin, who's made a good start. Everybody's on the mediums except Brian. Brian's gone for the hards as we just have a quick
And we
look
got Jewel out.
What, DNF already?
Yeah. And Higgsy, 5-second penalty, severe collision with Jetfish. I don't want to say it, but that
We've
appears
got a
to be an
safety
Aston
car.
Martin and Mercedes. We're missing a front wing on the Haas of Stubber.
We've got VSC.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if we've got more damage. No, it just seems to be Stubber missing a front wing.
Well, that is unfortunate. Yeah, I don't like the formation lap being off because we lose the start of the race. It's too much going on, too quick. So we've got Brandon who's up a place. We've got Quinn who's down a place. Jetfish has made up 5. We've got Higgsy up 1, but has that, I think it was a 5-second penalty. We've got Luke down 2. Brian down 2. We've got Glassy who's held his own in 9th. Fretty's up 5 places. Let's have a look at these tyres. So Fretty's up 5 places and he's on the hards. So he'll be pleased with that start for definite. Look who's right behind him. We've got Fretty's arch rival from last season in the what was mid-gear. Ross and Fretty had quite a few very close battles. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. Got Brent in 12th, Giraffe 13th, Enter Team 14th. Andrew might be a bit disappointed, but Andrew is on the hards. We've got yellow in sector 1. Looks like VSC's.
Yeah, it's Jetfish has spun. Jetfish has spun.
Yes, he rejoins back at us. It looks like it may have been. Don't know what's really happened there. Back has let him have the place back. So whether it must have been under a yellow, I'm not 100% sure. As we go back up front and have a quick look, so we got Colin, who is 6/10 ahead of Brandon. Quinn is having a fantastic run out in 3rd. Go Quinn, he's got 1.3 seconds on Lewis. The youngster. We've got Jewel, who's left the session. So it's telling us that the pit stop strategy for Quinn would be to stop around lap 12.
Yeah, and it's getting tight around Luke. There's 4 cars trying to be on the same piece of tarmac. Luke's struggling to get those tyres fired up at the moment. Luke McLaren's gone past, but the Alfa Romeo and the Alfa Tauri not the Alfa Romeo, the Haas and the Alfa Tauri getting involved. And he's lost 3 positions in one corner.
As Colin sets the fastest lap. Yeah, we've got a nice little battle going on here between all the way from sort of Brian all the way down to Luke. Luke's just dropped off the back of that a little bit though, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's struggling with those tyres at the moment to get him fired up. And Brent's got him now down 6 places. Brent up 8 places there. Higgsy has just fallen behind Glassy.
A bit of contact between Ross and Fretty. Oh my God, I don't know if I want to look. Oh,
they're still right together.
Fretty just moves him out. Oh, no comment. Oh,
And there's some hard racing going on.
it's very, that is very. Oh! Ross has just been hit by. But Ross has just been hit by. I think it was Brent.
Yeah, Brent went off, I saw, but Luke's down in 13th now,
Luke
and he's
must
got
have
passed
he must
by
have damage.
Andrew.
He must have damage. Yeah, and Ross is on those better tyres as Fretty starts to tighten up the circuit, and Ross goes. He's going to be looking to get a good exit here on those mediums. Oh, Fretty just gets a bit of a spin on. Ross comes out. Fretty moves across. Is he going to... They're both using maximum DRS. Fretty goes round the outside. They've bumped again. Oh, and Ross has spun. He's managed to keep it going. Wow, that was really, really tough racing from those two.
And I've just seen that in the background as Pinkwin must have had a moment. He's down 4 places. Glassy is all the way up into 5th, and he's chasing down Brian here. It's all kicking off here. The leaders are checking out, though, at this point.
Again. Yeah, Brandon and Colin, again. yellow in sector 3 looks to be a... Is it an Aston Martin? Is it the Aston Martin of Bakker?
It might well be.
Yeah, if he's got brake...
He's in his own race at the moment, isn't he? I think he's probably having to, if he's got brake issues, maybe just lifting close, hence the
okay, so
time
we've
he's
got
losing.
So we've got Quinn and Luke both joining the chat, saying that they've both disconnected. So they do share the same internet connection because they are brothers and live in the same house. So it looks like we have got 2 AI cars in the pack, which is Quinn and Luke. And unfortunately, we do not allow a rejoin, so they will be gutted, absolutely gutted, both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And they were in such good positions. And I didn't notice this. Lewis has overtaken Brandon.
Brandon must have had a moment because Brandon had pulled a gap on. He'd pulled a gap on, I think, Brian and Lewis, if I remember correctly, and all of a sudden finds himself 2.9 seconds behind.
But I tell you who's nicely positioned here is Brian. The guys around him are on mediums and he's on the hards and he's up in 4th position.
Got yellow in sector 3, looks to be, I think, it's a Haas?
Yeah, and that'll be Ross, I think. Let's
Ross,
come off there.
Well, I suppose, I mean, we do set the... I'm going to regret saying this, but we do set the AI at 30%. So I suppose if Luke and Quinn have disconnected, at least Bakker's got someone to battle with.
Yeah, well, he's starting to gain on Luke now.
Oh yeah, that's a battle we're going to follow. So we got Bakker with no brakes chasing the 30% AI of Luke and Quinn. Yeah, well,
and he's got Quinn and Luke in front of him. It's 1 point for 15th, and they are in his way for 15th. So he'll be desperate to get past them.
He will, yeah, he will. And also, if he knows they've disconnected, but if he is driving with no brakes, that might be a bit tricky. So, or he's maybe he's remapped his brake to a button, which would be incredibly difficult. But yeah, best of luck to him. We'll keep an eye on that. Let's have a look at some. Oh, we've got an incident there. We've got Entity that's gone off. Jetfish has gone past him. Entity looked like he'd just had a bit of a moment. Jetfish is at the back of this train. So we've got Jetfish, Andrew, Giraffe, and it looks like Fretwell is the man leading the train. Or is it Brent? It's all the way up to Brent in 7th place.
And he's not miles away from Higgsy either. But then there is a gap between Higgsy and the McLaren of Glassy.
Yeah, 3.4 seconds is a big gap on this circuit.
Yeah.
So, but
I'm looking at that gap out front, 5.6.
Fretty and Brent are also on the hards as well. So, I mean, this, keeping this sort of pace on the hards, 7th and 8th, and as you say, Brian in 4th. This race should come back to him when the other guys go onto the hards, and they're going to be on the mediums.
And that's why I think Brian. I think Bakker's out
with Luke's AI.
And yeah, it looks like Luke's AI is being punished by the FIA for that one.
So Bakker has taken out Luke's AI. I recommend Luke's AI to raise a steward's ticket.
And Colin Pitts, he's going to go hard to the end, I reckon.
He's pitted really early. 5 laps in.
Brandon follows suit, and we've seen this before, haven't we, between these two? Have. Because they're stuck in a championship battle. If you do that, I'll follow, kind of thing. Well, I mean, for Brian, it's a bit of a shame because he won't get a free pit stop. Obviously, now gets track position, but it's quite a long pit lane as well here. I found when I was coming out of pits or going into pits, I don't know if it was the same for you. It just seemed to be never ending.
Really, really slow. Yeah, and also the speed limit. The speed limit is a little bit slower as well. So you've got 37 miles an hour, 60 kilometres. And Lewis has been disqualified for ignoring a yellow flag.
Oh, and that's such a shame because he was in first place. So we've now got Brian takes the effective lead. The good thing for Brian here,
we've got
though,
a safety car.
Yeah.
Or
the good
VSC.
No safety car here. I'm on board with Brian. Yeah, unless there's a rogue Mercedes on the road.
Maybe that's why Colin pitted, because there was a safety car. I didn't spot there was a safety car. It didn't show up on. I don't.
Yeah, so he's got himself a free pit stop. No, it just says yellow flag, sector 1, sector 2, sector 3. I just managed to see it because I was on board with Brian.
I'm sure there was no safety car when Colin pitted. But that brings Colin out in 7th place and in the pack with the other hards. So he probably wouldn't want to be landing in this traffic. But
no,
I don't know. Maybe he's not bothered.
And well, for Brian, who seemed to have absolutely great pace on those hards, he'll be hoping he can gap it, get a good start, because obviously he doesn't have that free pit stop that Colin and Brandon have got. He'll be hoping that they get stuck in the pack behind what is another 6 cars.
Okay, so we've got Evil Master in the chat. Obviously, I did miss it, so apologies, folks. Sorry for that. Saying that the safety car came out when Backer crashed. So I didn't catch that. So that's why Colin's pitted. That's why Brandon's pitted. So that does now explain why Colin came off those mediums so early. Yeah, that's going to be interesting towards the end, because those hards, I mean, they'll last that long, but yeah. And then we've got Quinn.
Entity picking up a 3-second penalty as well.
And we got Quinn in 8th, but that's going to be the AI of Quinn, isn't it? If they've both disconnected.
Yeah.
The Van der Mark brothers. That's not their real name, but that's just what I call them. We got Brandon came out in 9th. So Brandon's got the AI of Quinn between himself and Colin. We got Backer in the chat saying it was Luke's AI that took him out. Well, we'll believe that when we see it, Backer. I'm sure you were just trying to battle against that 30% AI. Higgsy down in 12th. So Higgsy pitted as well. Entity pitted. D-Max pitted. Stubby had already pitted to change that wing. So he's on 6 lap old hards. We got Ross pitted. And then we got Luke's AI, so their results will be removed anyway. So we're waiting for Luke's AI. That could take a while. Luke's AI has decided to put him on the softs.
Yeah, I think it's a classic Ferrari strategy call, that one.
Questionable at best.
Yeah, exactly. Must have Matteo on the pit wall this week. So we've got 2 Red Bulls leading it. So will Brent? Well, I'm sure he'll want to win himself. But if Brian gets a great start and he has the ultimate pace, will Brent help him gap the field?
Are they going to go? Are they going to go? The field is joined up. Is it going to be a really late call? No. Safety car is staying out. So we've got another at least 1 minute 30. Of just talking about whatever we want. So
we've got a few. What's exciting me, and it sounds so sad, is there's a few cars just right next to each other, teammates. Alpines together, McLarens together, Red Bulls together, and the 2 Haas's. That's how boring my chat is.
I like it, Jones. I like it.
If the others would get out of the way, we could have a Noah's Ark kind of thing going on.
Oh no, we've got Mr. Senior Van der Melden in the chat saying that Luke's mother and Quinn's mother was vacuuming the rooms and pulled the cable out. Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me, that's going to be interesting conversation in their house later this evening. Well, I hope, look, it's only a race, Luke and Quinn, don't worry about it. Just chill out. Everybody makes mistakes. Oh dear. I know what would happen if that was in my house.
Right, so we've got just I imagine the safety car's
third.
got to be coming in this lap. Yeah, well, and these hard tyres, they'll probably try and take them to. Well, they might even try and take them to the fact that they can get softs on and be really quick at the end now.
Yeah, I think the softs can only do about 6 laps at optimum performance. I think lap 7 they drop off a little bit, and as I found out on Tuesday, lap 8 you may as well have wets on because they're absolutely useless. I think I lost about 3 seconds on lap 8. Just no mistakes, just tyre drop off. So
yeah. So if they can get to lap 20, then that's their opportunity. But otherwise, they've got to pit for mediums, which, you know, for the guys from 7th downwards behind Colin, they've all pitted apart from Stubber.
I tell you, who's looking really good here is Glassy. Because
Glassy's been racing very well around here.
He's looking at a net P3 because Quinn's AI will drop off, and all the other drivers in front will have to pit.
Yeah, absolutely, and partly because Lewis got disqualified. But like I said, he's going to lose so much time in the pit lane. It's such a slow pit lane to get out of.
This safety car's really cost the guys who started on hards. Really, really, really.
Absolutely.
But there may be another safety car. So Brian's gone. Is anyone? I hope not. But is everybody going to get through this first right-hander? We've got Fretty through. We've got Giraffe through. We've got Andrew through. We've got Maggot, Colin. We've got a yellow in Sector C. Somebody's not through. Oh, it looks like another Aston Martin. This Silverstone circuit has not been kind. Oh, as Colin jumps up the inside of Maggot, and that's Colin up to P6. Brandon's right behind him. So I don't think Brandon's going to take too much time.
Yeah, Brandon's going around the outside of Maggot.
Little bit of
it's going to be tight.
It is going to be tight, but he's going to be on the inside for the following corner, so will be tight, but then gets the job done, as One Wing used to say.
And Glassy's getting involved now. He's having a look. Yeah, the order's a bit mixed up at the moment. The top 5 are pretty much sticking with each other. Fretty's dropped back a bit off Brent through there, and Colin's going to get his head down now and chase down these guys. And we've got Higsy getting a penalty as well.
Yeah, just as Backer cheers for Higsy in the chat, Higsy picks up a 3-second penalty and is in currently last place. So come on, Higsy. Bit of work to do.
Seems to be when it rains, it pours for Aston Martin at the moment.
Just caught that on stream. Glassy right into the back of Maggot. Last of the late breakers. That's going to be popping up in the stewards. Mirko, let's go. Get your notepad ready after watching that one. Not intentional for sure, but probably just the difference in having good tyres. Jetfisher's staying with Glassy as well, and they're on the same tyre. So that's going to be a good battle.
Did Glassy get damage from that? Could you see, or?
I've not checked the TAS, so I'll have a quick look. No damage. Wasn't a big tap at all, but just enough to just spin Maggot out. Don't think Maggot did anything wrong. He was just braking at his normal point. Yeah, it's interesting to see how that goes.
Now, I'm just looking at this Brandon Colin championship battle, every race battle, it seems to be. I think his best opportunity, because Colin is just imperious at times, is whilst they've got the traffic, if he can just really start to string the laps together and close up whilst Colin's slowed down, if he can get an overtake done whilst they're dealing with traffic, that will be his best opportunity for this race, I think.
Well, Colin's got past Andrew, so he's already up into 5th place. His next victim is Giraffe. DRS is now enabled.
So we could start to see some DRS trains forming as well. So for Giraffe, that might be helpful down some of these straights in behind Fretty if he can stay within that second.
I think you're going to have two races going on here. I think you've got Colin, Brandon, Glassy and Jetfish for the podium. And then you've got the next race, which is going to be Brian, Brent, Fretty and Giraffe. And then at some point, the guys that have stayed out are going to join up with the guys that haven't when they pit. So it's going to be a good finish to this race. And who knows? We may get another safety car.
Yeah, and Colin's flying past Giraffe there. He's got that move done. As Brandon's still only just reeling in Andrew, so Colin is getting away from Brandon here quickly. As he picks up a penalty as well, 3-second penalty.
Yeah, I think Brandon's going to be opting for a second place finish here. As Fretty moves aside, lets Colin through. There's no point denying
and
the
Jetfish
inevitable.
having a look at Glassy. And Jetfish straight pass. He's got so much speed in a straight line. We've said this before about Jetfish.
Yeah, he does. Seems to run quite low wings.
Yeah, absolutely. So now Colin's going chasing the front two.
Ross is working his way back through. Ross is up to 10th. We've got yellow in sector 3. Looks to be one of the Alpines, or is it a Williams? Oh, we've got a safety car. Is it a safety car or is it VSC?
So
it's VSC. We've got a VSC, it says on the board. Looks like the Delta's playing games with everyone again. So
yeah, it looked like they had to literally stop there.
Yeah, the Delta time is definitely a glitch that needs to be fixed, but we're not moaning, so we're not allowed to moan anymore.
It's a shame for Brian and Brent and co there that they were where they were on the track when that VSC came out, because they might have been able to get a slightly cheaper pit stop and just try and hustle the mediums to the end.
They still might if it stays out. I don't think it will. I think the VSC will be ending shortly because it was only for a spun car on track. So although they're slowing right down again.
Yeah, it's
Glassy,
3-second penalty.
3-second penalty.
Yeah, they seem to be going incredibly slow under this VSC. And what will Brian do? Brian is going into the pit lane. Brent is staying out. Oh, and Brian's speeding in the pit lane.
Brian, no! And it looks like Giraffe's got a drive-through as the VSC ends. Oh, Brian's going to be absolutely gutted with that. We've got yellow in sector 3. That's another. Is that a Williams or is that a Alpine or is it both? Entity.
Oh, an Entity speeding in pit lane.
What is going on?
This caught me out yesterday in qualifying though. It's because it's not at 46 miles an hour, it's at 37 here. I stopped at 47 and then obviously you get caught for speeding straight away. There's no leeway on it at all. So Brian comes out in 12th, albeit with a 5-second penalty.
But that may be able to be served. It may be able to be served if there is another safety car.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, the pit lane speed limit is a real challenge. Me and Huss did a practice race on Tuesday afternoon, or a practice session, and every single time I entered the pits I got the warning, and it was like it started being a standing joke after about 8 times. It's really it's savage that speed is.
It really is.
Colin's right behind Brent now. Brandon. So Jetfish has got Glassy, but Glassy stayed within 0.6, and Glassy's got 53% ERS. Jetfish has got 75%. So at the moment, it's advantage
and Brent pits.
Jetfish. Brent's in. Hopefully doesn't get done
with no penalty. Yeah, no, he's crawling around at 37 miles an hour. It all looks to be good. So we're seeing quite a lot of penalties through the field here today.
So this is probably the closest battle we've got, isn't it? The Jetfish and Glassy battle as Andrew picks up a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, it's definitely the closest at the moment.
And this is for the final podium position, isn't it? Because Fretty's got to
Fretty's going to have to pit.
Fretty is really, really ringing out these hards. I mean, I think they'll probably go till probably... Oh, we got yellow in Sector 1. Looks to be one of the Red Bulls. That might have been Brent on his outlap. You know, where the tyre's not coming in to temperature straight away.
So for Jetfish, who was, for most of the race, just in around 10th position, it's really come back to him here. He's got his strategy right, and he's...
Here comes Glassy.
Like you said, net podium. But yeah, Glassy's having a look.
No.
But look at that pace in a straight line on that Mercedes every time. It's so hard to overtake him once he's passed.
Yeah, I noticed that Glassy did have a bit of a... Got yellow in Sector 1. Looks to be a... Is that an Alpine? Maggot, is it?
I think it's Maggot, yeah.
Looks to be. Yeah, I noticed that Glassy actually dropped out of the ERS there. I think he had a chance to pull alongside and he thought better of it. So he's obviously... He's considering...
We've got Brandon on Fretty here as well.
Got another yellow. It's Maggot again. Those tyres look cooked.
Oh, Brandon and Fretty touch.
Wow. Oh, we've got a... Yeah, they've got a car.
And they got the Alpine ahead of them.
I don't know if Brandon picked up a bit of damage there. He didn't, no. So just check the tyres. There's no damage for Brandon, so that's good.
Yeah, it looks like wheel to wheel. Yeah, and Jetfish should be... Well, he's caught up about a second from that little incident. And obviously Glassy's right behind him, so they're coming back into this race now.
I gotta say, Fretty's defending like a lion tonight. Another yellow, which is in Maggots and Beckett's. Looks like it is Maggot in Maggots. Oh, yeah. Brandon goes through. Oh! And they touch. What has gone on there?
Oh my gosh! I'm watching on board with Brandon, and then everyone is just missing him by a whisker. It looked like Jetfish and Glassy were going to hit him head on for sure. And now Brandon's got Mission Impossible.
He still doesn't have damage.
Yeah, again, it looks like it was just a tap on the side of the tyre wall again.
Well, this is going to be interesting now, because I think with 9 laps to go, Brandon can still get back to P2. I think he has got the pace to get back to P2.
Just looking at it, we've got Fretty and Stubber who are going to have to pit, I'd imagine. So that's 2 places. So that's 7th, net 7th at the moment. He's got to drive like hell, because obviously, like we've been saying, he needs the second places.
There's one. He's up to 8th. 2 guys have got to pit, so he's in net P6. We've got Ross, who is a reserve tonight, having a good run. Ross has obviously recovered really well. Yeah, I think Brandon, if he can hear us with his single AirPod in one ear, I think there's a podium. There's a podium in this for Brandon if he can get his head down.
And we've got his teammate Glassy, who may end up picking up a retrospective penalty. And we've got Ross with a 5-second penalty up in 5th.
But Glassy's got a real penalty.
And he's got a real penalty, but so has Brandon got a 3-second penalty.
He does indeed. So one cancels out the other. I wonder if Glassy actually might let... I wonder if Glassy might let Brandon through for the championship if they were behind each other. Because I would, if that was me and Huss. I mean, I always let Huss through, of course. Huss is in the Huss is in the chat actually. Hello, Huss. I didn't know you were there. Yeah, Huss is saying that Fretty is driving very aggressively tonight. Yeah, defending like a real strong defender is all I'm going to say. That was like back pedal, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you what, we've whilst everything's been going on, someone who's gone about their business quietly after being way out last with a spin at the safety car restart. Higgsy up into ninth.
He is having a good run. And he will probably pick up a bit of pace for following Brandon, although he's dropped out of DRS already. Brandon's only 1.2 behind Stubby. Yeah, that 5.7 gap might be the bit that really cost Brandon. I didn't see that 5.6. I must have misread it.
Yeah, I mean he's gaining, but he's running out of laps quickly. It's 8 laps, and everyone seems to have pretty decent pace here. He hasn't had where we've seen him and Colin be in a completely different league. I mean, Colin is, absolutely flying again today. We haven't seen Brandon have as much of a pace advantage as we have seen in other races this season.
No, I think some of that is to do with this circuit. I think I was saying to Huss in practice, I think this circuit closes up the field. Generally, we've got yellow in sector 1, which looks to be, I don't know who that was. As Colin just nearly gets tagged by his teammate. Well, his teammate's AI.
This is what Backer's been talking about in the chat. He's not happy with.
So he's now coming up to take Quinn. He takes Quinn's AI. So Colin is now clear with no cars in front of him for probably the best part of about 4 minutes. So
now we've got
Colin out of
we've
trouble.
got Jetfish right onto the back of Fretty. If Fretty stays out, it's not going to be an easy move for Jetfish, because
this could be tasty.
Like you said, he has been like Fernando Alonso tonight so far. Fretty on the defence.
He has,
but
he's been like Fernando Perez. He's like a cross. He's like a hybrid between Alonso and Perez.
And look at that straight line speed again. He's going to cover the inside, forces Jetfish wide. He's hanging it on the inside, and he's still kept the position.
Oh, Jetfish goes round the outside.
He's going to run out of road. Oh, Fretty's going to have the drive though, and he's just positioned his car beautifully. Master defence there.
Master defence again on those hards that have done like 95 million laps.
Yeah, and Jetfish you can see clearly wants to get through. It's getting so close.
Looking for the
Parks
switch
his car well.
Oh, Fretty on the inside. Jetfish is going to get the run. Oh, just nearly touch.
Contact.
Oh, he doesn't get the run out of the corner, but he will get DRS. Just hits the curb, bit of spin. That's going to cost him. He's going to get a good run, but it's going to be tight. He's going for the outside. Fretty defends. He's got the outside. Fretty lets off the brakes. Jeff's got to go round the outside. They touch again. My goodness me, Fretty has got an indestructible car tonight.
And I tell you what, who will be loving seeing this or hearing about it is AirPod, Brandon.
Single AirPod Brandon. Oh, Fretty's going to take this tight. That's going to open up the drive, and I think that is job done.
Well, if Fretty can stay close, he'll have the DRS, but we know how quick that Mercedes is in a straight line. But how much DRS have they got? They've both got. They've hardly got any. But Fretty's still got to pit. When's he going to pit?
When's he going to pit?
And he's defended against Ross now. It's never ending.
Oh no, not them two again. Not them two again.
And he stays ahead.
And he stays out as well. We've got a lap of Ross versus Fretty. Come on, nobody go away. Don't go and make a drink. This is going to be fun. This is going to be the best bit of the night. Oh, we've got Fretty with a spin.
Right on the back of this.
We've got Ross coming up alongside. That is not the corner to try and overtake. Fretty closes the door. Closes the door. We've got Glassy looking on, coming round the outside. What is going on? Oh, Fretty's making an absolute race of this tonight. Ross will be absolutely revved up. He's going to get good drive.
And have you seen D-Max took 2 seconds out of these guys in the last lap?
I've seen that you've also got 2 guys battling up front. As we've got yellow in sector 1. Looks to be Higgsy, unfortunately, or is it D-Mac?
No, Higgsy's okay.
Ross is coming around the outside. We've got Quinn's AI getting in the way, mixing it in there. Oh, Glassy goes through.
And it's an opportunity.
Glassy goes through. Pickpocketed.
Now it's Glassy on Fretty. He's got much more ERS.
Yeah, but does Glassy know that Fretty's in master defence mode?
But Ross has had the best drive out of that.
Oh, Ross is coming right behind.
This could get very messy. Oh, look at that. He's closing up. Who's going to get the best exit here?
I think Fretty's just cost Glassy a bit of momentum. Double draft. Is it going to be a double overtake? This is going to be... Oh, don't look away. Don't look away. Glassy goes through. Is Ross going to try it as well on the inside? No, he's not. Fretty surely must have to pit. He's on lap 22 on those hards. Fretty's going to go in. No, he's not. He's
waiting for the safety car.
He's waiting, and Ross just can't get through again.
And look who's onto the back of this.
Brandon.
3 seconds behind.
Brandon's coming. Oh, is Ross not this corner again? Surely not this corner again. Oh, sorry to the guys that we're not covering, but this battle is just... And we got Ross. Oh, close the doors, looking for the switchback. Surely he's got to wait.
Oh, he gets too much. He gets on the sausage curb and
surely he's got to wait. He's got to wait now. Get the power down.
Another 7 attempts to Brandon.
Brandon's coming. Brandon's got. Oh, Ross picks a penalty. Penalty. Oh, this is going to be close. Around the outside. Fretty covers it well. Closes the door. Ross has got nowhere to go. There's a bit of bump drafting going on. They're touching. Oh, as Ross does get through. Oh no, they're locked. The wheels are locked together. What is going on? The wheels are literally locked together. The wheels are locked together. They're not letting each other go. They're having some kind of love hold. Oh, it's going to look. It's got to his Brandon. Get in there, Brandon. No. Oh, Ross spins. Oh my God. And Fretty is still on track on hards. Oh, Ross is going to be absolutely fuming. That look at Higgsy. Higgsy's up to 7th, going past. No, he's coming up on the back of Brian. Fretty still needs to pit. Surely now, Fretty's got to pit.
He's going towards the pit lane.
He is going to pit. He has got yellow in sector 2, and we've got Brandon up to 4th in. Fretwell's been disqualified for blocking the pit lane. Well, oh dear. Well, whew. Take a breath. Take a breath
and take a sip after that one.
Wait a minute. Take
crazy
a
few
sip.
laps. My God. Right. So... As it calms down, now we've got some gaps. It seems so strange after the last few laps. We've got Brandon, who is behind Glassy. Will we see the team orders that you mentioned before?
Glassy will see that. Glassy will know. Glassy's a really, really sensible, mature driver. He will know the score. And looking at the championship, I mean, Jetfish has got right in the middle of them as well. So... yeah, I don't know whether he will or not. Bear in mind, Brandon's only got to get within 3 seconds and anything can happen because it's so easy on this track to pick up another 3-second penalty. So, wow, What a race. This race, I don't know if you watched the esports race last night, but it started off and the first half of the race was the most boring race you've ever seen. And then it just kicked off and went crazy. I think we've actually beat that. This has just been absolutely insane.
Fretty was defending like crazy there. It was full Fernando Alonso, elbows out.
I've got a funny
feeling. And it just made me laugh when they got locked together.
yeah, that was just... I've never seen that. That was quality. I've got a funny feeling.
In the way that Brandon sneaked past as well.
Yeah, Glassy nipped through. I've got a funny feeling we may be seeing Mr. Fretwell's name pop up in some of the stewards' reports, especially from Ross.
I think that might be the case. I think we might also see Glassy as well. Obviously, with the not a malicious incident.
No, the little incident with Maggot. Maybe
just
not
on the brakes.
I don't know. He look at Higgsy. Higgsy's up into 6th place. We've got just joined in the chat by Mrs. Bold. A very good evening to you. Mr. Bold is out front with just a small gap of 18 seconds to his ex-nemesis Jetfish. Glassy is in 3rd. Brandon is closing that gap, so it was 3.6 seconds. It's now 2.4 with 1 lap to go. Is Glassy, is he easing off? Seeing what's coming?
Well,
I'm not sure.
Glassy's actually gained on Jetfish here by about 8 tenths.
Yeah, so he's not easing off then. So this is likely to finish like this. We've got Stubby, who's picked up a 3-second penalty. We've got Yellow in sector 3, and can't really catch who that was, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and we've got
no close battles. We've got no DRS at all. Thanks, guys. You've given us a great middle bit and then nothing at the end. Nothing. You've given us nothing to work with.
That's it. Conversation.
Hang on. What's going on here? What's going on here up front? What we got here? We got Jetfish trying to overtake a Haas. I'm guessing that is the Haas of Ross, and that's allowed Glassy to close right up 1.3 seconds. So one more mistake from Jetfish and Glassy could be in the DRS for the final lap. Obviously, I'm trying to make a big meal of this because it's the only thing I've got to work with. Oh, it was Andrew on the back of DMAC.
DMAC, yeah.
Andrew, we've not seen Andrew all evening. Gone quietly about his business, and he's made his way up to 8th place. Oh, that's not a corner to try.
Bit of love to run here. And he's gonna
get the job done. One wing style gets the job done. There we go. He's through into 7th.
And Brandon now almost within DRS of his teammate. It's getting tight for that second position. But the thing is, catching up with Jetfish is one thing. Getting past him, you're looking at straights to do that. It's going to be incredibly difficult.
We're Yellow in sector 2. Looks to be just a bit of a spin, but it's recovered. So we're past the point of safety cars. Higgsy's had a great race. Absolute great race in 6th. Brian.
Yeah, amazing recovery.
Yeah, Brian will be quite pleased with that 5th place, I think, because he's not had a lot of luck recently. So fair play to Brian. He's coming up against the Haas as well. Now past Higgsy, Andrew, as we go on board with Colin, as he comes back through in the new livery Ferrari. Round 7 goes to RPM Colin, 86. Mr. Bold, as he passes the line now and sets the fastest lap on the last lap just to rub it in. Congratulations, Colin. Ferrari will be delighted. I'm sure that Richie, who's had a tough week, for reasons that we know, Richie, thinking of you, mate, and I'm sure that will please him a lot. We've got Jetfish just about to come through now. Brandon's got within 4/10 of his teammate. Glassy is going to cross the line, and Brandon right behind him. Good recovery from Brandon. I think that there may well be some comeback on that later. We've got Brian in 5th. We've got Andrew. Great drive from Andrew there to come back up to 6th. Oh, he's lost out on the penalties. Dropped 7th. DMAC, good drive from DMAC in 6th. 7th, Andrew. 8th, Brent. Higgsy with those penalties has dropped all the way to 9th, so he'll be really disappointed with that. We've got Stubby crossing the line now, who takes up 10th. We've got the dangerous AI of the Van der Melden brothers, of Luke and Quinn. And then last
to round it off.
And Entity just takes out the Rolex
some rally
board.
driving. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, just to bit of controversy.
Yeah, he's clearly maybe more of an Amiga man than a Rolex man.
Yeah, or a Casio calculator watch. Probably a bit before your time. Yeah, just don't worry, he's got a Seconda.
He ends in style.
He's going across in reverse.
And he gets the final point backwards. Fair play.
Yeah. Not really. He didn't really style that out. I got to be honest. So you've got a bit of work to do on that Entity if you want to finish in style. Driver of the day, Andrew. So yeah, we said Andrew had a good run. So fantastic for him. As we have a quick run through the results, I think based on the podium, we will not do interviews tonight because we've invited you for the last I don't know how many weeks, and only Brandon has joined. And considering Brandon is not on the podium, we will not invite him. So as we go through the results, we've got RPM Colin taking the win with a 24-second lead. So really showing his class tonight. Jetfish, good result for Jetfish in the Mercedes in second. We've got Glassy in the McLaren in third. Banter Brandon in fourth. Good night for McLaren for the constructors. 2 good solid finishers in third and fourth. We've got the Red Bull of Brian in fifth. DMAC reserving, so highest reserve tonight. Congratulations to him in sixth place in the AlphaTauri, solid drive. Andrew in seventh, driver of the day. Brent in eighth. Higgsy in the Aston Martin in ninth. Stubby, second reserve in 10th place. We've got Giraffe in 11th. Ross in 12th. We've got the very, very dangerous Van der Melden AI brothers of Quinn and Luke in 13th and 14th, where they will be removed because they disconnected. And we've got Entity in 15th, who will be taking a higher position than that because of obviously other drivers and reserves being removed. We got Maggot, unfortunate DNF for him. Lewis, DNF for him. Backer with brake problems, so probably was destined not to finish this race. Jewel, and then we have got the almighty famous this evening, Mr. Fretwell, in 20th place, that got disqualified for blocking the pit lane, but we have absolutely no idea why. So that's your results for the evening. Any comments from you, Jones, before we sign off?
Nothing from me at all. Really enjoyed the race and enjoyed the mental 4 or 5 laps we got in the middle. Get my breath back now.
Well, I think, albeit it may prove to be a bit controversial in the chat, in the Discord after. I think that middle stint of the race was absolutely, to watch, it was fantastic. So that's
yeah, absolutely.
Certainly made it a good evening. Well, thank you very much for joining me on comms. It's always a pleasure. And
thanks for having me.
Hopefully we'll see you again next week. Next week we're in Spa, Belgium, so one of the favourite tracks of quite a lot of the drivers. I'm sure that'll be a good evening. Thank you for watching the stream. Thank you to everybody in the chat that's made some comments, and hope you've enjoyed the race, and we look forward to seeing you next week. We'll be back online for the senior division on Tuesday evening from Belgium in Spa with Fretty on comms. I will be driving, backing up my faster teammate Huss, so I'll be playing wingman. But yeah, look forward to seeing you there. Thank you very much, and have a good evening all.